All right, let's dive into a classic GCSE maths question. We're talking about simultaneous equations, and this one's worth a whopping 4 marks. But it's not just about getting the right answer, is it? It's about showing your work in a way that guarantees you back every single one of those points, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that.
Okay, so here it is. This is the exact question, pulled straight from an exam paper. Now look closely. It doesn't just say solve. It says you must show all your working. And trust me, that little phrase is the key. That's where all the juicy marks are hiding.
So that's the big question, isn't it? 4 marks are on the table. How do we make sure we walk away with all of them? Well, it's not about magic. It's all about having a clear, logical method and showing it off. And how do we know what that method looks like? We cheat! Well, not really. We use the official mark scheme. Honestly, think of it as the blueprint for your answer. It literally tells you exactly what the examiner wants to see to give you the points. Okay, let's get these equations on the board. We've got 4x minus 5y equals 20, and our second one is 6x plus 7y equals minus 57. So what's the game here? We need to find that one special value for x and one for y that makes both of these equations work perfectly. It's like finding the key to 2 locks at once. First up, we're going to use a method called elimination, and it's exactly what it sounds like. We're going to cleverly tweak these equations to completely knock out one of the variables, which makes the whole thing way easier to solve.
So here's the game plan. It's a simple 3-step process. First, we got to decide who gets eliminated. Let's pick on x. Now look at the numbers in front of the x's. We have a 4 and a 6. What's the smallest number they both go into? Yep, it's 12. So our mission is to turn both of those x terms into a 12x.
Let's start with that top equation. To get 4x to become 12x, we just need to multiply the whole thing by 3. And remember, you have to be fair. Multiply times everything by 3. So 4x becomes 12x, minus 5y becomes minus 15y, and 20 becomes 60. Easy. Now for the bottom equation. To get 6x up to 12x, we just double it, multiply by 2. So 6x becomes 12x, 7y becomes 14y, and, watch the negative, minus 57 becomes minus 114. And there we have it. Look at that. Both equations now have 12x at the front. Perfect. And you know what? Just by doing that, just by showing those multiplication steps, boom, you've already earned your first mark. The mark scheme calls it an M1, a method mark, for setting up the elimination correctly. First point in the bag. See how this works? Okay, we've set the stage. Now it's time for the main event, actually solving this thing and finding our first answer. All right, since both of our 12x terms are positive, we're going to subtract the second equation from the first. And here's the magic. 12x minus 12x is 0. They're gone. Eliminated. Now, be super careful with the signs here. We have minus 15y minus positive 14y. That gets us minus 29y. On the other side, we have 60 minus negative 114. A minus minus is a plus, right? So that's 60 plus 114, which is 174. So now we have a super simple equation. Minus 29y equals 174. Just divide 174 by minus 29, grab a calculator if you need to, and we get our first piece of the puzzle. Y is equal to minus 6. And let's go straight back to our blueprint, the mark scheme. What does it say? It gives an A1, that's an accuracy mark for getting either x or y correct. We've got y equals minus 6, so that's another mark. Ka-ching! We're halfway there. Now that we know what y is, we can use that information to find x. The easiest way is to just plug it back into one of our original equations. Let's use the first one. It looks a bit friendlier. So instead of 4x minus 5y, we have 4x minus 5 times minus 6. Again, watch the signs. A minus times a minus is a plus, so that becomes 4x plus 30 equals 20. And guess what? That simple act of plugging the number back in, that's another method mark. The mark scheme is literally looking for you to show that step. So that's M1 number 2. We've got 3 out of 4 marks now.
Okay, we're on the home stretch now. We just need to solve this for x. We want to get the x on its own, so let's move that 30 over by subtracting it from both sides. That leaves us with 4x equals minus 10. One last step, divide both sides by 4.
And our final answer for x is minus 2.5. And that's it. We've found both x and y. Puzzle solved.
So let's just lay it all out nice and clearly, exactly how you'd write it on the paper for full marks. There you have it. The final solution is x equals minus 2.5 and y equals minus 6. Clean, simple, and most importantly, correct. And this is what it looks like on the actual exam paper. You've got your answers in the box and all that beautiful working underneath it that proves you know your stuff. That's a guaranteed 4-marker right there. Just look at that. On the left where we started, on the right, the official answer from the mark scheme. They're a perfect match. By following that blueprint, we built a rock-solid bridge from the question right to the solution.
And that, my friends, is how you break down a question to make sure you get every single point. We absolutely smashed it using the elimination method. But it does make you think, doesn't it? There's another major algebraic method you could have used to solve this. Any ideas what it is? Have a think about it. Until next time.